morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, are we on? There we go. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this is not the crowd that's going to be at the Vegkop final when we have our match in July. But thank you for being here. We really appreciate every single seat that is filled. Without our partners, we would have definitely not been able to accomplish what we have so far. And in faith, I can say that what we will accomplish in Namibia with and through this event. I am Danielle Roosty, Head of Marketing at the Momentum Metropolitan Group for Namibia. And it is really such a pleasure to give you all a warm welcome to the official media launch of the Namibian Momentum. How can I forget that? The most important, significant part of the title, the Momentum Namibian Youth Rugby Invitational, powered by Gravity. Today is such a significant moment for us as we embark on this journey with our valued partners and stakeholders to create a platform where we will empower and showcase the talent of young Namibians. We are also privileged to have in attendance distinguished guests from our partners, including Namibia's Secondary Schools Rugby Union, Gravity Sports, the Namibian Schools Sports Union, and my very own members of EXCO, as well as privileged to be graced by our CEO, Zakaria, who humbly requested me not to do this, but I think I'm not in good books anyway, so I can just as well carry on. I see there's a familiar face just behind my current boss is my first boss that I had, Gili. Thank you for being here. It's such a great pleasure to have you too. So yeah, familiar faces here and there, a great crowd to have together to launch this event. And I would like to start this event in the correct manner and just commit this event to the Father Almighty, if we can bow our heads. Thank you, Lord, for the privilege that we have as Namibians to plow back and to give back, to see other young Namibians grow and become and realize their potential. We pray that this event will bring your name glory, and the entire sponsorship we place in your hands. In Jesus' name, amen. We are privileged to have Johan Barnard, the CEO of Momentum Short-Term Insurance here. But mind you, don't look at the CEO title. Hy was self 'n kranige rugby speler. There's no other way to put that in English. He played for VP, for Suidwes, Namibia, for the SA Barbarians, South African Barbarians. And yeah, we hope to see him on the field. He might surprise us with a game or two, or a drop kick, or they call it a drop kick, right? So we would like to welcome Johan to please grace us with a few words on why we are embarking on this journey.
Thank you, Daniel. It's good to have a good, a new executive on the EXCO that understand the marketing game. We used to do all these things ourselves. Thank you and welcome. Yeah, quickly to all the guests, distinguished guests, Zakaria, my colleague, everybody else. Yeah, thank you for attending. And I think what is important, I'm going to be very short, it is why we decided to get involved in a project like this, or rather in the sponsorship of an event like this. And I think what was important for us when Sean came and see us of Gravity is, there's a few boxes that needs to be ticked. The one thing that we would like to attach our brand and our name towards must be an event that is well organized, where we can build brand equity. Because the important thing is, if it's going to be a once-off, quick fix type of thing, is you never get the brand equity out of that, you never get the exposures you need. But now we decided, let's do something, let's do it well, and let's create something that is going to be not only good for the youth and the other stakeholders, but it's going to be good for the country as well. So it must be something that can start small and that can grow substantially, and that is why we partnered up with Sean and his team, because they've got not only the experience, they've got a track record of making these events successful. Sean, thank you very much. We're proud to be part of you guys, and I hope we can make this something big. I think for too long we always suck in the agterspene, and we do things halfway. So let's go flat out and things like this, and let's build something from here. It's also very important for us to share the same values, and for all this is all about everybody, all the stakeholders, the experience that we will have in this event. Not only for the players, for everybody, for whichever, for the teachers, for the players, for the spectators, for the sponsors, for the organizers, for everybody. There must be a great experience, because it shares the same value that we would like to have our customers and our clients have, is they have a great experience in dealing with us. And it must be exactly the same on this basis. And then, from in my own experience, I can tell you, and I've been involved in quite a few tournaments in my life and big games and all these other big things. But the things that I remember the best, of those ones I remembered the best, was these school events, these tournaments, all over the country and in South Africa, wherever. Because these things, you remember every game, you remember every friend you had, and you remember even every opponent. And that is the important things. It is the memories that needs to be built from here. Between children, between teachers, between coaches. And I think what's important for us is that this is what makes sports so unique. And this is what makes, especially rugby, so unique, is that, one day you'll turn around, and I've still got friends that I've at school level that wasn't my team, but from the opponent's teams. And that is what is important. And that is what I have to create on this basis. And then there's something quite important for me, and that is, and I would like I might be a little bit too opinionated about this thing, but I think it's important for me to say this before this. Sport is a part of the educational. School sport is part of education. We don't. When somebody wants to become a doctor, he doesn't become a doctor in grade 5 or in grade 7. He becomes a doctor in grade 5 and 7. He gets his maths and his science and his biology right, that he can go further and become a professional, become a doctor. And sport and rugby specifically is exactly the same. The whole idea of school sports is to develop the basic of a player, that whenever he goes out, he can play he becomes a professional when he goes out, those that choose to be. For the others, it's all about the experience and the commitment. So the whole thing of winning at all costs, it is the one thing that is not supposed and it will not be allowed in this tournament. It's about sportsmanship. It is about developing skills, and it's about developing the basics of rugby. That's what it's all about. If it's winning at all costs, we wouldn't like to be involved, because it's education. When we go winning at all costs, we support the Western Province, because the Bulls is not winning at all costs. So it's important for me that the parents, and the message must be clear, guys, this tournament is there for enjoyment, it's for the kids to learn, and it is for us all to experience the Namibian experience. Everybody that comes in, and he will tell you now how many teams are coming in and how many special guests are coming in, and that's the important things that we would like to see. But once again, thank you very much, and thanks for us to be involved. And as I mentioned, it cannot be, we haven't come this far just to come this far. Let's make this something, this thing goes. Thank you.
Stage is quite a step up. Thank you so much, Johan. It really was an honor to have you here, and we will excuse you now. He is off to his client, because it's client first in our world. So that is a valid reason for him to be excused. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ainsley Daniels, Chairman of the Namibian Secondary Schools Rugby. Mr. Daniels will use the opportunity to just give thanks for the event, and also share his sentiments around the events and why he's involved. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Good morning, distinguished guests, Mr. Zakaria, Mr. Barnard who left, and Mr. Kambatuko from the NSSU, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great occasion and opportunity to thank Momentum, a long-term partner of the Namibia Secondary Schools Rugby for more than 25 years and for their contribution towards the development of school sport rugby. The NSSR is always grateful when there is opportunities for players, children to play rugby, especially in their formative years, because we believe that they will become good ambassadors and great citizens for Namibia. I'm reminded of a beautiful philosophy of Ubuntu. It is an idea that humanity is based on the plural, not the singular. Ubuntu means essentially, I am because we are. And on behalf of the Namibia Schools Rugby Union, we want to say thank you to Momentum and to Gravity Sport Solutions, because of you, we are. Thank you.
I'm going to be quick this round. Sean, I'm going to call you up. Please do come up and share a few words with us. Sean has been so great. I really want us to give another round of applause to Sean while he walks up. I think there's many battles he's fighting behind that he doesn't always share with us. So don't think we assume that we all pitch up here and everything is smooth sailing. We do see it and we acknowledge it, and thank you. So with that, please do come up.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. All dignitaries and protocol, everything has been observed. Thank you so much for attending. Our sponsors, Daniel, kind words from you. Thank you so much. It's actually a new partnership that we started now from Gravity side, and I'm looking forward to this one. There's going to be a couple of heavy telephone calls, but after that, I think it's going to be smooth sailing. But thank you so much to Momentum. Yeah, this is one of the stuff that we actually had a dream of when we started, and if I can, I'd like to just also acknowledge one company that put us on the map 6 years ago. It was Nama Poultry. Thank you so much. You guys are here today. Where are you sitting? Thank you so much, Nama Poultry. You guys put us on the map. Okay, if I may start, where's that teaser of ours? The teaser, the video. I'm really going to bore you now, so let's have a look here. When we put this teaser out there, I'm sure some people are going to come here to win at all costs. We're going to have to change this teaser. I'm serious. Okay, can I get the presentation, please? Okay, so once again, thank you, Momentum. Let's go over to the brass tacks here. The introduction of the Momentum Namibia Youth Rugby Invitation was a first of its kind competition in Namibia, and where the initiative basically started was, you know, you got all these major festivals in South Africa, KES, the St. Joseph's, the Craven Weeks, the Academy Weeks. Why can't we have something like this in our own country on ground soil? Yeah, why can't we have something like this on ground soil? And the thing for me was, when I started thinking about this about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, it was a thing of, you know, every single time our kids must go over the border and they don't get the chance to see mommy and daddy, or the parents can't afford to send their, oh, come on. The parents don't have the opportunity sometimes to see their kids play against these major teams from South Africa, and this is, thank you to Momentum, because this has made it possible now to be able to have those games, high-class games in our country. Basically, it's going to be 6 invitational schools. Savo will drop those schools with you, Nana, and then 6 teams from 6 invitational schools over here from Namibia. The date will be the 11th of July to the 15th of July, the week before the school starts. So that's actually a pretty nice week just to get everybody running. I'm sure the couple of coaches that are sitting here, they will enjoy that week to be able to prepare for the league. Official opening is Thursday, the 13th of July. That will be the Thursday. Okay. The venue and the happenings. We chose Verkop for a reason because it's the oldest school. It will start off this year. The momentum, it will start this year at Verkop because it's the oldest rugby, well, we think it's the, I could be corrected, the oldest rugby field on a school caliber in Namibia. What's going to make this week very, very unique is that we've partnered up in the mornings. These games will only start at roughly 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and run through to the evening time. We've partnered up with the Namibian Rugby Union, which will also have their scouts and their high-performance guys coming in the mornings with UJ. We've partnered up as well. They'll be sending high-performance coaches here, which will be training an all-welcome clinic in the mornings. There will be seminars for coaches with high-profile coaches coming in from South Africa and obviously our coaches here, and medical staff training as well, and referee seminars. I can also announce that Rasta from South Africa will be here that week to give a presentation and also to help us officiate that week. He will be here, and there's other names as well that will also be coming through. Afternoons is game time, so everything will start at roughly 2 o'clock, and will run through till about 8 o'clock in the evening. That is the Thursday, which is actually what Johan actually just spoke about now, building friendships. I believe personally, there's no better friendship than a rugby friendship. There is going to be scouts from the NRU and from these people that are coming in. They're going to select 2 teams. It will be a team that day, which will happen is 2 teams. They won't be playing Namibian boys and touring guys together. There'll be a mixed 2-team barbarian teams, and then they will be playing this game together, and they can have the feel to play with each other, etc., etc., etc. So that's going to be a very nice, how should I say, feesting, if I can say. It's going to be a very lekker thing. That Friday will be playoffs, and the finals will be on Saturday. The spoils is a cup, a bowl, a plate, most valuable players, the NSSR Momentum Prestige team, which will be chosen out of Namibia, and I'm still going to have to speak for next year's budget with you, Daniel, with regards to that, but we will get to that later. There will also be a shadow ball clinic. They were here this weekend, again this past weekend, which some schools really did well to attend there. The shadow ball clinic is one of the most fastest growing clinics in the world at the moment pertaining to rugby with skills development. And then the awaiting confirmation from some big names, big people coming in for this week. This is really, we want to make it a festival. We want to have it in 2 or 3 years' time that this thing becomes a festival. It must be where every child wants to play, where every single parent wants to be, and where every single corporate wants to be involved with. And that's what the initiative regarding this actually comes down to. I'm finished over here right now, Danel. When Mr. Savadelli comes on, he will do all the other questions for the gentleman there. But once again, thank you for coming today. Thank you so much for your attendance. I'd also just like to, on another note, just thank the Ministry of Sport. I'd like to thank the NSSR, the NSSU, and the Namibian Sports Commission for approving this event. It means a lot to us. And if we can plow back into the NSSR for every single child in Namibia on this platform, it's going to put rugby back onto where it's supposed to be, especially at schoolboy level. But I'm sure this tournament's going to grow, and we'll make sure it's going to grow. I think Sava's really going to encourage you with regards to who's coming, what's going to be happening. And yeah, that's the short and long. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. I think we can see that it's quite a substantial event. It is not just something that can be planned and coordinated overnight. That is why the launch is also a few months prior. There are high class and high quality players coming in, and of course our own talent, top of the game. So with that said, I would like to welcome to the front. I had the pleasure to meet him earlier this week, Mr. Roger. I know him as Roger, but more formally, Mr. Kambatuku. Please come to the front. We would like to welcome you and just have you say a word or two. Mr. Roger is the Namibian School Sports Union National Coordinator. It's really a privilege to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Good morning. I think first of all I'll have to profusely apologize for being delayed a bit. So as a result of me being late, I think I missed the first part of the protocol in terms of who is present and not. So if I don't really do justice in my welcoming to recognizing the protocol, let me also thus apologize in advance. That I think if I was here in the beginning, I would have gotten as to who is here. But I think in short, I just recognize the presence of our chairperson here of NSSR, Mr. Ansley Daniels. NSSR is a substructure of the Namibia School Sports Union. Now, I think before I say a lot, when Sean was in my office earlier this week, or was it early this week? Yeah, I expressed to him that as NSSU we've got no intention of stopping whatever competitions there are, because our focus is to get more competitions for Namibian school learners. But I told Sean, and I want to repeat it again, that even though we want competitions for school kids, I told him in my office that as NSSU, we don't want competitions that are exclusionary. Our competitions must be open to all Namibian learners, school learners, that is. The other issue that I addressed with Sean, and which I also want to clarify here, is to say that I was worried about the qualifying criteria for the 6 schools that are chosen to engage in this Namibia Momentum Rugby Invitational. And Sean clarified that criteria for me, and then also Mr. Daniels just rubber-stamped it in terms of saying that how the winners will be, or how those 6 schools will be selected. And based on that, I think as NSSU now, we said that no, because we are happy with the criteria, because we are happy with the format, we can give our blessing to the event. And I'm just here to reaffirm that blessing. So that Danielle, next year when you look at the budget with Sean, maybe we just look at expanding it a bit in terms of maybe 6 to 12 schools or something like that. But I think it's also very important from where we are that, and maybe Sean, and to say that rugby, yes, but I think as NSSU we've got about 15 codes that we're implementing across the country. So yes, rugby, but I think in our discussions, let's look at expanding to other codes, rugby, netball, cricket, hockey, chess, darts, and all those things, volleyball, and so on. So with those few words, I'm just here to say is that the NSSU responsible for school sports, we can never be more grateful to corporates like Momentum, who see the need to say that they want to come on board and assist us. I was on NBC TV this morning and I said to them that, look, this thing is not like Momentum giving NSSR or money and this thing. For us, it's more about forming partnerships, because we are saying that our interest is development, growth, and the future. Any corporate who identifies with those 3 concepts, let's form partnerships and so on. Because essentially what needs to happen is that the corporates must see them advancing their objectives and aims through partnering with us, NSSU, those sports practitioners. That is what we are there to do. We are there to advance your aims and objectives, to say that if you give us that investment that we can make to the kids, that we can advance those objectives. So we are there for growth, development in the future. That is what we are interested in. So anybody who sees or who buys into that vision, come with us, let us invest in the Namibian child. The other thing that I also want to mention is that competitions of this nature, Sean, they are very nice. We welcome them, we support them. But I think we also need to make sure that the substantial investment in competitions like this must go to the actual things that matter to make them more sustainable. It's good to have a competition, but if most of the investments goes to, I don't know what is the right word to use, but it must go to substantial things that matter. Infrastructure, we look at infrastructure development and so on. We look at incentivizing the schools that participate so that they can have more interest next year and so on, or the years to come. For me, those are the sustainable issues that matters, rather than, giving sometimes lavish winning prizes and so on. It's nice, But I think at the end of the day, they are not as sustainable as investing in things that really matters. So, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, with those few words, we are here. I just wanted to mention that I also appreciate the initiative of Sean coming to the office to say this is what we are doing as Gravity, because there's been a lot of talk in terms of these things. It's always better if we engage. In this country, there is that talk between, and I said it and I'll repeat it again, between public schools and private schools, which for me is not a debate at all, because we should be able to coexist. We should be able to have competitions where public, private schools participate in, because there is a chance that if a kid at a public school plays with a private school, there is a chance that that kid will develop, you will improve. And the same goes for private schools as well. So I don't want us to shy away from that debate as we move forward during the year. We must have those debates, however uncomfortable they may be, but we need to have them so that we can define what is the future of Namibian children in school sports. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. Sometimes good to be reminded that we are here to make a difference, regardless of your profile, regardless of your background. We want to make a difference in the country and to the Namibian child. So we can assure you, between Sean, myself, and the stakeholders involved, that the money is going towards the Namibian child and improving and empowering the Namibian child, giving them an opportunity to shine, giving them a platform to showcase their ability and talent. So now that that's out of the way, we would like to call to the front Mr. I keep on, because I know Mr. Sava, but the entire surname, Giulio Salvadelli. Salvadelli. I tried. Please, we welcome you to the stage.
Thank you very much, everybody, for the kind words, welcoming. So, my name is Giulio Salvadelli. Apparently, I'm the director of rugby for this tournament, which I think, regarding the tournament, just a couple of words. I think it's a good initiative. I think, as Sean said, that we're used to sending our kids on school tours to South Africa where they play major teams and they enjoy themselves, and we as parents don't often get time, or some don't have the money to travel and stay away for 2 weeks while the kid goes on tour. And I think to be at home, to watch your kid play at home and support him at home, I think that's one of the best things there is. And it falls in a time where it's school holidays and everybody's always saying we've got nothing to do, what are we going to do? So now, we've come up with a solution. So great initiative. I think it's going to be an awesome one this year. I think it's going to go and it's going to build momentum that in 3, 4, 5 years from now, we won't be able to go without it. So from my side, I think it's a great opportunity. And if you are selected or if you've been chosen and you do not take part in this competition, boy, you're going to lose out. That's all I want to say. So let's start. Hier is ek druk vir hom. Sorry guys, I have to go through this whole thing again. As I said, it would be Sean. Guys, so we're going to talk about the technical side of this tournament and what it's all about, and some of the things. Obviously, we're going to have some questions afterwards, but as I go through a couple of things, I will pause and then I'll just explain how certain things are going to work and why we've decided on certain things so that we all can go. And then obviously just make a note of any questions that you have so that I can try and answer them when I'm done with this presentation, so we can go and see what we can try and answer some of your questions. Probably we won't have all the answers, but I think we should be okay with that. So first of all, we're going to have the match days. There's going to be 3 match days. Basically, it will start on the Tuesday and it will go right through to the Wednesday. So on the Tuesday, Obviously, we're going to start off with six log matches, which will be touring teams versus the Namibian teams. I'll go and answer a question now that I know that's going to come through now. On Wednesday, we're going to have the same thing. We're going to have the 6 log matches, and it's also, once again, Namibian teams versus a touring team. Then, as I said, the Tuesday and the Wednesday are combined. We're going to have combined log standings for those 2 days. Obviously, we're going to go through who's playing who will be determined by an official draw that we'll do a month before. So it will basically be, let's call it like a UEFA Champions League. We'll be drawing out of 2 different bowls. We'll be drawing team names, so no one knows who's going to play who's going to play who a month before. And obviously it will be a Namibian team playing a South African team. So your first 2 matches that you will be playing will be you won't be playing a local team. So a Namibian team will be playing a South African team, vice versa for the first 2 days with the log matches that we're going to have. That's how we're going to go through. Like I said, no local team will play a local team on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to have 3 junior, pre-matches before we have the big Barbarian match. As Sean explained, that the Barbarian match that we want is just, as he said, to try and build some camaraderie among the boys, choosing 2 teams, which will be giving a jersey, and they'll be playing for, and they won't be playing for, obviously they'll be playing for a win, but it's more about bragging rights that I've made a team and I've played against other guys. I've been playing with guys. I've been playing with some of them will be playing with teammates, some won't be playing, but we just want to mix it up a little and just keep the boys exposure and feel how it does feel and how a Barbarian game is. Okay, as I said, 2 combined teams will be selected to play the Momentum Barbarians match. At the end of the day, after the Tuesday and the Wednesday, we'll have a combined log standing. That will obviously will be a more of an explanation in the official tournament guide, which will determine how we get there. And then the tournament rulebook will be distributed a month before the tournament, and there's specific reasons for that, because obviously we need to go and have a look. We also need to make sure that the rules that we've got in the book all are according to World Rugby rules, and make sure that everything is spot on so we don't have any issues regarding that. So I think the most important thing is that we also want to bring to mind is the socializing and the interaction. I think at this level, it's very important to socialize, especially between kids, and have this interaction amongst each other, because as Johan was saying, that he remembers the most important rugby he remembers was his school day rugby, and it plays a very important part, because you meet new children, you meet new friends, you make new friends. And at a later stage in your life, you meet up with these guys and you guys can talk about the old times and how it was in the old times, what rugby you played. So that's very important for us. Because once again, it goes back to the kids. We're not doing it here because we're bored, we don't know what we want to do. This is purely because we want to give our boys the opportunity to play rugby, enjoy it, be at home while they're doing it. So it's very important that they enjoy it. And this is for the kids. It's got nothing to do with who I am or who you are. It's got 100% for the kids. They must enjoy themselves, they must make a name for themselves, and they must add value to the team that they're playing for. So as Sean was also saying, we've also decided that we'd like to bring in some morning clinics. Obviously, Sean did elaborate more on that and who will be coming in and who will be presenting what. And we think it's also an important part that we start plowing back into rugby. And other people are going to ask, yeah, but why are you bringing in foreign people and to do this? Don't we have local people? Yes, sure. We've got local people. We've got local personalities. We've got a lot of people that can help us do this. But I think once again, some of these guys that will be coming in are going to be some of our boys heroes at this stage, who are currently still playing rugby, who have played good rugby, who've represented their countries, and do this for a living. So that once again, we're playing back into the kids. That's the most important thing. So obviously, on Friday, according to the log standings, we'll be having the playoff, which will be the semi-finals. That once again will be determined by the combined log. Then we'll be seeing who plays who on the Friday. On the Saturday, it's all about the finals. So we're going to have a bowl final, we're going to have a plate final, we're going to have a cup final. So there's a lot to play for. Once again, bragging rights. Very important for the boys. And also, we decided to bring in 3 because at the end of the day, we want everybody to go away as winners here. We don't want to say you guys are the top player. We want everybody must walk away as winner and have the opportunity to walk away as a winner. As I said, the Friday, semi-final match for each team according to the combined logs. On the Saturday, it will be the playoff losers of semis in the finals, and then the finals, and obviously the different finals, as I discussed. So that's basically my little presentation. So we're going to have some questions and try and give you some answers. So guys, please, any questions regarding the technical side of the tournament? Shoot. Okay, so yes.
I've got one question, but there's a lot of games in 1 week. So are you going to allow us to have big squads like to kind of help with that? Or what do you have in mind in terms of the total number of the school?
So once again, we did do our homework on that. So obviously, a normal squad of rugby is usually 23. So we have had discussions and gone back to the law books and everything and had a look. So we've decided to take that to 25, which means that you'll still have a match day 23 team, but your squad will be 25. So in terms of a lot of games, so you'll be playing maximum 3 games in that week. Every second day you'll be playing a game, and depending on where you end in the final. So if you've got 25 players, obviously it should be sufficient for the boys. So what it actually means is you'll have your squad of 23 for the day, but you've got 25 players. So if you've got player X that you want to rest today, you just bring in one of the other 2 players and you take him out, and that will just be determined by your team sheet for the day. So that's why we've allowed 25 players to be in the squad. Anything else? Well, if it means that there's no questions, it means we did a bloody good job, Sean. We explained everything very well. So, yeah, just from my side, so obviously, does anybody want to know who's coming and who's not coming? Is it? Great. So, yes.
I don't know whether that's relevant now, but I just think in terms of how the local 16 will be selected, is there any around how that process is going to work?
So, yes, so the process works exactly. We've gone and we've chosen the top 6 teams that ended in last year's league. We took the top 6 teams that came out of that, and that's the criteria for the teams that will take part, obviously, this year in this tournament. So obviously, if needs be, we'll change it next year if we see that there's a change that needs to be made. But for this year, the criteria were you needed to end in the top 6 teams in the league, the national league. Because actually, they deserved the position to come and play in this tournament. Oh, okay. Right, so just bear in mind, guys, obviously this will all, there's still a couple of things that obviously we need to work through. As we said that as soon as we've invited everybody and all the teams have been invited, you will have a week to register your team online on the website, and that will be seen as your official entry onto that. And then obviously only after that we'll be able to see which teams have entered or the group that we've selected and who hasn't, and whatever reason that may be. And then obviously if there's space available, which I don't think there will be, we'll obviously try and fill those gaps. The same with the incoming teams that were invited in the national teams. So we've got about, Sean, correct me, 90% confirmation of these teams. Yeah, you may, please.
So we can also expect, like with other gravity events, that there will be a live stream available. So we would be able to get that as well.
We also negotiations with the outside broadcaster has contacted us pertaining to this event. They would like to have rights on this event in South Africa. I can tell you it's not SuperSport, but it is another broadcaster, but we haven't closed that deal as of yet. But local streaming, etc., yes, is the most definite, yes. Can I mention the names?
Yeah, you can. Go for it.
Okay, so the first team that's basically was first to grab the opportunity was HTS Middelburg. They're sending a team to come up here, under 19 squad. The second team, thank you to somebody sitting in this crowd right now, Pirates Rugby Academy. We've got another academy coming in, Lynx Academy. Just on that, at this point in time, on those academies, the South African, like the NSSU, the South African rugby or whatever, once a child has left the school to go to homeschooling, he goes to a club. He's not allowed to play in the league. So what happens from there is the clubs have jumped onto that and they started to develop their own academies. So, but these clubs do also, these academies do play in the national league or in the provincial league, if I may put it that way. We have Peterhouse Zimbabwe, have I mentioned that? Yeah, Peterhouse Zimbabwe. We have Paul Boys High. That's a very big one. I'm sure you coaches would like to play against those guys, but it's not a first team. It's the second squad coming up. We have received a call this morning when we got out of the car here, Wynberg Boys High. They're also coming up, but we can't 100% confirm that. We first wanted in writing and signed on the application form, but that's also, and then we have Rondebosch. Just received the WhatsApp now as well from them. So those are the teams that pretty much have said have come up, and there's other guys that are also still interested. But once those applications have been signed and sealed, we're closing up entries from South Africa. So, but as Sava said, I'm sure the guys over here would want to get into that mix very quickly.
Yeah, you guys can't afford to miss it. Yeah. So then, obviously, the local teams. As I said, the criteria was that you needed to end in the top 6 of the league. Obviously, Windhoek Gymnasium. Windhoek Afrikaans Private School, Walvis Bay Private School, VIS, HTS, Maria, and Pro Ed. Those are the 6 local teams. All the.
Can I answer that question?
Yeah, yes, you may.
The reason for
the logic is, yeah.
Sorry?
No, carry on.
The reason why we've got 7 there is because we're just catering on one that is not going to apply. Due to this, so we're going to invite all 7 teams. Whoever answers first, they get to play. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Good. So those are the teams. Like we said, that obviously they'll, as soon as I think the applications will open on Tuesday at 12, and it will close at Friday at 12 again. So you need to register your team. Get your team online and involved. Otherwise, you're going to lose out. If you're not involved, obviously with the closing, then obviously we'll look at another team or teams, doesn't matter, to take part in this event. But the invited teams, if I can just say, you guys, there's no way that you cannot take part in this, because this is going to be a very huge tournament. I think for the boys, it's going to be something huge. You cannot afford to miss this, really. Any other questions? Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, it's very informal. I take it that you guys are pretty much finished answering. Any more questions from Saba? For Saba?
Okay, I don't know if directly to him, looking at the tournament itself, like the sponsorship, how much is it, the winning prizes, what teams will get, what will be get for those traveling teams?
Okay, if I can answer that quickly. Stay here, please. Okay, so I'll leave the amount sponsorship through to Donnell Resteve from the sponsor. What else is there?
The traveling teams, what are you catering for those traveling teams to
For the travelling teams that are coming here, they get accommodation, they get picked up at the airports with local bus services here. But you've actually jumped the gun right now because I'm going to get into that right now after this slide. Any other questions? Okay. Sponsor and partner accreditations. These are people that we've spoken to that really want to be involved with this. Our partners, firstly, the official fuel partner to Engine Namibia. Thank you so much, Kim and your team. Engine has jumped on board. They will be sponsoring fuel and that for the buses and the schools coming in from afar. The official vehicle partners in Dongo Toyota, Umkili, bye-bye, thank you for julle. You guys have really, really done a lot for us in this last 2 or 3 years. We appreciate that. To Mariette, your team, ons amper elke dag op die phone, thank you. Radio Wave couldn't be, Future Media, all 4 stations, we've got actually a very nice program that's going to start happening from next month. Which will happen is that on all 4 radio stations, we're getting exposure for this tournament. There's going to be chat shows the week before the time. It's a pretty big one. I think Verkoop's going to be too small for that. The hydration partner is Electro Boost. I don't see them here right now. Broadcaster partner is Gravity Live. And then the brought to you by partner is Nashua. Michelle, you are here. Thank you so much as well for what you guys are doing. And then the naming partner at this point in time is Momentum. Thank you so much for that. So I think we can give our partners a round of applause and thank you for that. And I'm done. There we go.
So we're getting to the formalities. We would like to hand out the ceremonial invitations and do the pictures as well, which we will use for the press release. Sean, can I ask you to please come and just facilitate the process?
So someone can call up the people and your CEO can come.
Zakaria, we would like you to please do the ceremonial handover as the representative. The group CEO.
Okay, the first school we want to call up is Windhoek Gymnasium. I don't know who's the representative for Windhoek Gymnasium. Yanni? Thank you very much, Annie. And then we'd like to call up the representative of Windhoek Afrikaans Private School, please. Johan. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any representative of Walfish Bay Private School here today. Can we call up Mr. Who's the representative for VIS? Sorry. Thanks. So, guys, due to other commitments already, HTS unfortunately can't be here to accept the invitation. The same with Moria Private School and also with ProEd. So thank you very much for everybody that made time to come here.
Can we ask all of the representatives to have quickly take a picture,
No
please?
problem. Guys, all the users of St. Clark, can we just have a picture taken, please? Thank you very much.
Sean, can I also have you?
She wants you to focus.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, I think we can conclude. Call it a day for now until we see you all in June, where we look forward to host our teams, our international teams, and as well as our home team playing on home ground. I want to thank once again all the partners that was mentioned by Sean. It's only when we come together and work towards a common goal, as Roger mentioned. If we can align our goals and our vision and all come together, powerful things can happen and impacts can be made for the better and for the good. We do have something to snack on outside, so please do feel free to stay, have a chat or two. Sean, your wife has flowers for you.
We'd just like to thank you for your assistance with everything as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thanks. Here you go.
Can you see the smiles a bit lightened up now, even more? What flowers can do to a girl? Please, husbands, go and buy your wives all a bunch of flowers now. I promise you it feels so nice. I think dopamine gets released in your brain when woman gets flowers. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much, Zakaria, and the Exco team, the Momentum employees who's taken the time to be here. Especially I want to thank Johan Barnard from our short-term, Momentum short-term, who's been driving this hard from his side and giving the support to mobilize this, NSSU, as well as Sava, these individuals and organizations, all just a huge, big thank you from Momentum. We look forward to seeing you and yeah, have a good weekend.